another edition of Ask Michael Ehline. This is where I teach people the law in an unorthodox manner by using examples that we see in the news, case law briefs, but it's all about exposing the Leviathan and its instrumentalities and taking back your rights. Know the law and mean to keep it well. Come here to learn from an expert to know your right. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to save, because we never know when the thought police are going to take down this channel.
That's right. And so tonight, this show is dedicated to all you thought police out there who think that you can use your office and your public authority to try and harm other people that you don't like. And I don't know that that's necessarily what happened here, but clearly there are some serious issues going on that I'm going to cover tonight. And I appreciate everybody joining me tonight. I am attorney Michael Ehline. I am a lawyer licensed in California and Texas, and I'm in process of getting barred into the state of Arizona. And it looks like my back injury cost me a lot, because I should have already been barred in. But unfortunately, when you have a serious herniated disc, that causes issues. So I'm here tonight at my standing desk looking at my disheveled self going, darn it, I wish I could have acted sooner. So looks like my lighting's a little off, but I'll try my best to try and cover the show as best as I can. Thank you, Kinetic Customs, for joining me. Thank you, Sylvia. Brandy Swaney, thank you, ma'am, for joining me tonight. Kevin Brianarski and Jody Shiloh, thanks for joining me. And again, anybody who's got a super chat or wants to buy memberships, you go to the front of the line as far as answering questions. And always make sure to double tap that screen, because, you know, I'm in vertical mode trying to reach out to the youngsters, trying to help them understand that George Soros and all of his prosecutor buddies and his leftist public education and college system friends are not the friends of Ehline Law and Team MPE. So, and yeah, I'm trying, bro. Thank you, Kinetic Customs. Kinetic Customs says, thanks for pushing through the pain. I appreciate it. Well, I appreciate you guys. And honestly, I would not have come live tonight if I did not get a lot of people who were wondering what happened to me reaching out to me earlier today. So I'm not going to name names, because I am a lawyer and I always keep all my conversations between other people confidential, because the privilege lies with you, my friends, not with me. So what's up, Lynn Davidson? Good seeing you, ma'am. Or sir. Sorry, Lynn. I sometimes I mess it up. I think if it has an E at the end of the name, then that means that it's a girl. And yes, I do believe there's only two genders unless it's an irregular circumstance. And I kind of feel like the people coming after Lane probably think there's a million genders. So let me tell you, first of all, I want to give people time to join the show. But one of my friends reached out to me today and asked me to give him a hypothetical about what should I do in a situation like this. And so I'm going to give you general legal principles from the perspective of a California or Texas lawyer, because I'm only licensed to practice law right now in California and Texas as to handle this particular situation. So if you're in a situation where you show up at a courthouse for a criminal hearing, and then we'll get into Lane Myers and what's going on with him. But right now, I want to talk about some other issues that came up that I want to address first, and I'll let the room fill up. But if you're in a situation where, let's say you get arrested, or you get, even if it's an infraction, and you get a notice to appear, and you show up in court and you go to the courthouse, and you're told on the day of your appearance by the court clerk, oh, there's no trial today. There's no court today. There's no pleas today. There's nothing going on with your case number. You have no duty to appear. And you capture that on tape. And it's legal. Remember, I got to give you hypotheticals. And it's legal for you to record. And you record the court clerk telling you that. And you get the necessary information to identify that court clerk, who is an administrative agent of the courthouse, aka the presiding judge in most states. Then you do have evidence. However, is that evidence admissible if it turns out later a warrant is issued for your arrest? Okay, so keep this in mind. You showed up for court and you were told by an administrative agent of the judge, that you don't have any duty to appear because there's nothing going on. Sorry, have a nice day. You can leave. All right. If you have that on tape, is that going to be enough to quash a warrant that's later issued for your arrest for failure to appear? Right? Crazy, right? It just blows my mind that this stuff still goes on. In California, it doesn't happen as much anymore because of guys like me, because I was one of the originals that pro pers that made sure that that wouldn't happen. But in other states, it looks like Arizona, that's still going on, it just blows my mind because it reminds me of Joe Stalin, right? Like, wow, this reminds me of Joe freaking Stalin, right? Like Obama revisited, right? Him and all of his leftist buddies, lawfare. Wow, the way they took control of all of our administrative agencies, the public education system, the colleges, and now they're so pissed off that guys like Elon Musk are exposing them, right? And so what happens immediately within a few weeks? CNN, there's going to be a great recession. We're in a recession. It's the end of the world after Sleepy Joe destroyed our economy and our country. It's Trump's fault, right? Because they know midterms are coming up. So I digress. Let's get back into what's really going on. So if you get a situation or you're in a similar situation such as that, where you show up for your appearance and you're told by an administrative agent of the court that there's nothing going on, that you don't have to appear. Well, me personally, I would not believe that person for a second. Why? Because I have over 20 years experience as a lawyer. And prior to that, at least 15 years as a pro se idiot, dealing with these people and understanding that they don't care about us. In my opinion, they care about their taxpayer funded cushy jobs and their US aid checks. That's all, in my opinion, that's all these guys care about. So, hey, what's going on? What's the matter, you? And let me see. Thank everybody. Richard Phillips, thanks for showing up. Yes, they should give you a receipt, but okay, but what if you're not savvy and sophisticated? What if you were like me, like my father? If you were reared up as a Swedish Lutheran who has been told all your life that your yes is your yes and your no is your no, and when somebody shakes your hand or someone looks you in the eye in a position of authority and tells you yes or no, that's all you have to believe. What do you do then? Right? That's where I'm at. So what if you're one of those guys, like how I used to be before I was run through the mill myself, which ultimately, if you know my background in history, sort of forced me to become an attorney. What if you're one of me? Well, what you want to do is understand the law. And now, because it's too late for you to have gotten a receipt or proof that you didn't have to appear, what if you have it on tape? Well, if it's legal in your state to record in a public place, you might have it on audio tape. Okay. So if you've got it on audio tape, you might be in a better position, a stronger position, assuming arguendo many things. So in the rules of evidence, we have a thing called the chain of custody. So you have to be able to prove to the court, right, that audio tape did not break the chain of custody. If it broke the chain of custody, then you're in trouble. And I'm going to, for brevity's sake, because this is going to be a long ass show tonight, and I'm standing right now. As a matter of fact, let me see if I bought a brand new standing desk. So watch how it kind of goes up. I just want to I want to be able to rest my elbows on this thing. So I got the standing desk where I can push this button and make it go up a little bit. So let me just get that going. Okay. That's a little better. Wow. All right. So let's say that you've got it on tape, but is that going to be admissible as evidence? Like, if a warrant is issued for your arrest, are you going to be able to take that tape and show it to the judge? Well, first of all, probably not. First of all, you need to file a declaration. And again, this is California or Texas, where I'm licensed to practice law. I don't want to be accused of practicing law in a state like Arizona, right, without a license. So I'm going to be very careful, but give me a bunch of ones so far if you understand what I'm saying. Hey, Chevy, thank you so much, brother. Chevy just threw me $10. And I know a lot of you people are like, oh man, this guy he's got a grift. He's trying to make money. Look, man, you throw me $1, you throw me $2. I'm teaching my daughter how to build a YouTube channel and how to be an entrepreneur. And guys like Chevy are helping me because I don't want her to work at Starbucks and be a barista. I want her to learn how to run a business. And so right now, you guys, with my help, are teaching my daughter how to become an entrepreneur. So thank you, Chevy, even if it's $1. And by the way, Chevy, you can ask me questions, man. You don't have to just throw me money. I mean, that, look, I normally charge $500 an hour minimum as a lawyer. So I use my law firm and the money that I make to subsidize this channel. So I appreciate it, brother. Anyway, so let's get into it. Hey, good seeing you, Chili. Everybody give me a bunch of ones for Chili from over at Delete Laws. Good friend of mine, another person who was falsely accused, and I stood tall for him, and Team MPE stood tall for him when he was falsely arrested and falsely imprisoned. And thank God, with your help, we were able to, primarily because of Chili, but we all worked together synergistically to raise enough money to get him an outstanding appellate attorney and get those charges reversed on appeal. And he won his case. And now I see another brother who I feel is very similar to Chili, a genius, somebody who has an incredible ability to read people and to understand the law. Very similar to Chili, but different at the same time. But the same kind of deal, constantly falsely accused, but constantly fighting for what's right for him and his family. And so that's why I'm doing this show tonight. And I'm really, really devastated. But let me again get back into my example. So I saw, hey, Kinetic Customs, good seeing you, man. Good seeing you, BZ Watchdog. Good seeing you, Gloria Ad. All my homies. Man, you guys are so awesome. I really miss doing my shows, man. And again, I wouldn't be here tonight if it wasn't for Chili DeCastro. I'm not going to lie. If it wasn't for Delete Laws and Chili DeCastro, I wouldn't be doing these shows. He just reminded me so much of me. I was one of these guys who was doing exactly what Chili does now, or was doing, but we didn't have cell phones. And so they would take our big video cameras and they'd throw them on the ground and stomp them. We had the British West Indies license plates, and we were just having a good time. I'm probably more like I think his last name's Freeman. I'm sure that if Freeman didn't hate lawyers, I don't know if he does, but I'm presuming he does because I've tried to reach out to him, that him and I probably would see eye to eye on probably 99.99% of what's going on in this world. And it's a shame because I got barred in so I could help people like him and Chili and Lane, yet I get treated like I'm some kind of an enemy by guys like Direct Meth and stuff like that. But that's another story. Let me get into this really quick because we're already in 12 minutes. And I wanted to make sure that, oh my God, holy crap. What is going on? Somebody just threw me a $50. Oh my, you did not have to do that, ma'am. Somebody just threw me, Miss Chickarer just threw me a $50 super chat. I'll tell you something. You would be better served, ma'am. And I appreciate it. And I know that means a lot to me and my family, especially my daughter. But if you would come and join me this on the 22nd, I think it's the 22nd in Texas, in Houston, you can hang out with some Navy SEALs and some U.S. Marines while we raise money for military victims of service-related cancer. And you can hang out with me, and I'll give you free legal advice all you want, and we can talk and we can powwow. But I do appreciate it, and it means a lot to me that you're supporting my channel big time. And I really, really appreciate you joining me tonight. Oh my gosh, Let's OTVO, thanks for joining me, sir. And by the way, Let's OTVO, give me a bunch of ones for Let's OTVO. He was one of the very few people who met with me to see Chili in court while he was being falsely imprisoned by that judge in Nevada. And Lane Myers would say kidnapped, right? Or Reluctant Prophet would say kidnapped, but right, falsely imprisoned, kidnapped. I mean, if you're not a lawyer, you probably don't know the distinction, right? Right. So how could it be defamation? But that's another question for another day. That's right, Lynn Davidson. I really like James Freeman. Definitely like, wow, what a cool dude. Thank you so much, Reluctant Prophet, for joining me tonight. Hopefully Reluctant Prophet's going to be able to correct me. And I'm really, really grateful that I've got powerhouses like Delete Laws, Reluctant Prophet, and hopefully Lane Myers will come in, even if it's under a different pseudonym or whatever. I just want to make sure that I can cover everything tonight. Well, hold on. I'm getting all this. God, my whole phone's blowing up with text messages. I must have hit a vein tonight. Guys, I'm so grateful that all of you guys have stayed loyal to my channel. because I've been suffering from like a serious back injury where I am just like, I don't want to use the word depressed because that's very unmarine like, right? Because I can't ever admit defeat, but I've not been a happy camper. So thank you guys for showing up. Oh my God, Chevy. Shit. Chevy just threw me $50. Thank you, Chevy. Chevy, what's going on with you, man? Give me a bunch of ones for Chevy, and somebody please like email me at circleoflegaltrust@yahoo.com to let me know what's going on with Chevy's health. Because Chevy, honestly, brother, if you are spending money that you need for medical care, I don't want it, man. I don't want that money. All this money goes into an IRA for my kids. I don't use this for me. I work my ass off as a lawyer to provide for my family, and everything else that I'm doing on this YouTube channel. I've got Annika helping me out. I'm trying to teach her how to be an entrepreneur so she doesn't have to be one of these people who works at Starbucks. Okay. So just give me a bunch of ones for her and me for not allowing her to be some scumbag that ends up with a job there. All right. Oh my God. Let's OTVO. Gee, mini Christmas. Let's OTVO says, do you know your way to Santa Fe? Let's OTVO. I'm working on it, man. By the way, brother, if you want, you got my phone number already, but if you want, send me a link to how can a California lawyer get waived, WAIVED, in to New Mexico as an attorney. So right now I was able to get waived into Texas because I've got over 20 years in as a California lawyer, and they're reciprocal as long as you have experience. And Arizona has a similar program. The problem has been that because of my back injury, I have been incommunicado, and I apologize again for not showing up like I should be for y'all. But I just want you guys to know that like I'm still part of Team DLZ 1,000,000%. I mean, Chili is the reason why I'm here today. And I'm hoping that guys like Reluctant Prophet and Lane Myers and all these other guys, and even Direct Meth, understand that we all need to stand together. We need to hang together, or we will surely hang separately, like Benjamin Franklin says. And all of us have our weird quirks and our different personalities because we're gifted. And people who are gifted and people who are like us oftentimes will clash. But at the end of the day, do we want to hang separately? You guys tell me, do you want to hang? Do you want to hang separately? Do you? Do you really want to hang separately? Because I think that we should put our differences aside and hang together. And so I'm really grateful that my creator has given me the ability to try to form coalitions so that we can hang together. Give me a bunch of ones for my creator giving me that insight and for giving me that gift of discernment, that I can put aside any kind of differences that I have with other people if I feel that we have something that we can offer each other mutually. Oh my gosh, look at all this stuff. Chevy, thank you, Chevy. Chevy just, I'm not even looking at the sidebar. Chevy, you just gifted, holy crap. First of all, what's the matter, you, brother? I know that $2 from you is worth $2,000 from any of these other guys. And it means a lot to me, man. And I really do appreciate it. Guys, give me a bunch of ones for freaking doggone. What's the matter, you? Hey. And then Chevy, as Chili would say. Chevy made it possible for 10 people to become members of my back channel. And pretty soon, as long as I can keep my health going, I'm going to be in a situation where I will be able to start doing like private back channel shows and doing Q&A sessions to help y'all. But it really does look like I'm going to have to. Hey, BZ Watchdog, my Marine brother. Look at all those ones. Holy crap. Oh my God, Chevy, another $2. Give me a bunch of ones again for Chevy. Gee, I can't even stop looking at the side. Guys, I got to focus on the camera so you can see I'm paying attention to you. But Kevin Bidonarski, Kinetic Customs. Okay, so Kinetic Customs. Let me start answering some questions for y'all. All right, so if you show up in court, let's say you're in Arizona, and I'm just doing a hypothetical. Pro Se America. Holy moly. Pro Se America. Is that the Wood? I'm glad you're doing your case pro se, because listen to me, bro. I didn't have anybody to help me. I got the crap beat out of me by a West Covina police officer just because I asked him for a copy of his ID. And that led me on my journey to becoming a lawyer with no law degree or undergrad. And look, if now if you want to learn how to become a lawyer with no law degree or undergrad in California, maybe that's what you should be doing instead of constantly like telling me what you're doing. Like, be proactive and become a gall darn lawyer under me, and I'll help you do what I did, because I don't know how much time I have left with my injuries and all the stuff that I'm suffering. But I certainly would love to pass on my knowledge, experience, and skill to a worthy apprentice. And I'm not lying. And my offer still stands with you as well, Chili, if you really want to do this. I mean, you're in California in 4 years with your experience. Dude, you're a smart cookie. You could be a lawyer too. And Kevin Biedenowski, thank you for the super sticker. You guys got to stop giving me money because I'm not going to be able to answer any questions, man. So Kevin Biedenowski, give me a bunch of ones for Kevin. Make sure to like and subscribe to Kevin's channel. Same thing with NQQIOTVO, whatever that means. And he says, or she says, I'm not rich, but what you did. Hey, look, dude, or girl or woman, I didn't do anything for Chili. Chili did that for himself. Chili surrounded himself with spiritual energy. And me as a lawyer, that's all it took for me. Like, I realized that, especially because of my Marine Corps mentality of loyalty and spirit and discipline, that I had a duty to look after a fellow brother. To me, he's just like somebody who was under fire and he needed someone to come to his aid. And that's the God's honest truth. I had nothing to gain from, and a lot to lose, because I had all these scumbags that hate Chili sending letters to my former landlord, because I didn't want to buy, because I just moved my family out of communist California and I was waiting for the economy to change. But basically got me evicted from my house because of these scumbags that hate Chili, guys like Direct Meth. And, I did it because I feel called to help people who are being falsely accused. And so that's what I did. And so it has nothing to do with Chili or me helping him. I did what I was supposed to do. People always say, "Oh, thank you for your service." And I'm like, what are you talking about? Thank you for my service. I joined the Marine Corps because it was my duty as an American to serve my country. Of course, I found out later that our country lied to us about Vietnam. There was no Gulf of Tonkin. That was all a lie. And my father ended up dying from cancer, from Agent Orange, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, from the exposure to Agent Orange in Vietnam. Did 2 tours over there. He volunteered to go back a second time. But again, God dang it, man. We're already in almost like 20 minutes and I still haven't. Hey, Mia's Tarot. Good seeing you, ma'am. You guys are so awesome. Well, I wouldn't say you're a wimp. So Raya Hoot says I'm too much of a wimp to serve. Well, Raya Hoot, I don't believe that for a second. I mean, anybody who's brave enough to stand up to the administrative state is a pretty brave person. At the end of the day, I'm actually happy for you that you didn't serve a government that lies to you in order to enrich the military-industrial complex. And I invite all of you guys to read the works of Smedley Butler. All right, that's the one Marine Corps USMC general. Please read the works of Smedley Butler. Somebody spell it for me in the sidebar. Oh, Brandy, you're so amazing. Thank you, Brandy. Brandy Swaney said, happy you are able to hang out. Team MPE. Well, Brandy, just remember that if it wasn't for your Team DLZ t-shirt that you're wearing, that I wouldn't be here right now. I mean, it was really Chili that brought me here to get me doing these shows. That's all it really was. So keep that in mind, guys. Right on, BZ Watchdog says, hoorah, Smedley Butler. All right. So I just don't want to miss anybody. You guys are giving me like some serious donations, and I'm crushed right now because I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. But Annika's going to trip when she sees that just being an honest, loyal person pays dividends. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. So just really quickly, privates. Let's get into it. So if you show up in court in Arizona, for example, or any other state, I'm pretty sure that the general rules of evidence would apply. And again, I will have to bring on, I'll have to wait till I get barred into Arizona, but let's just say hypothetically in California, if I got waved in to freaking doggone if I got waved into freaking doggone Arizona, I would argue that my client recorded Oh, Chevy, another dollar. Give me a bunch of ones for Chevy. Chevy just threw me $1. I would argue. Jeez, you guys are killing me. I'm going to start crying right now, man. Stop giving me money. It's not fair, man. I don't deserve it. I'm just a messenger from God, and that's the God's honest truth. I you guys are something else. So, yeah, okay. If I had recorded a court reporter who is a Chevy, again, a bunch of ones for Chevy. Make sure to like and subscribe to Chevy, guys. He just keeps donating to the channel. If you guys, if you show up, okay, guys, okay, now look, if any more donations, I'm not looking at the sidebar for at least 5 minutes. I've got to get my thoughts out because this is going to be a long show tonight. All right. Seriously, we got a lot to cover, and I don't have a lot of time because my back's jacked up. And I know my bed's calling me, that heating pad's calling me, guys. So just work with me. Just work with me. All right. So if a court clerk who is essentially the administrative agent of the courthouse, and in my opinion, the presiding judge tells you that there's no hearings today for you, there's nothing on calendar for you, go home. All right. That tells me a lot of things. To me, it tells me she's probably a lefty into lawfare, right? The same people who got like a George Soros type who's just trying to get convictions against you to make it harder for you to run for office, or to disparage you and make it harder for you to win your case. That's what it tells me, in my opinion, with my over 20 years experience in law and knowing how these lefties, who essentially 99% of our administrative agencies are run by far, far lefties, right? You'll never meet a conservative who works for the government. If you do, I'll eat my hat. Okay. So these are people who are SEIU types, right? Service Employees International Union, Soros types. They want to flood the country with illegal aliens and criminals. That's my opinion. All right. You can have a different opinion. I'm not going to hate you as long as you believe in natural law and natural rights, that your rights come from a creator. I think we're on the right track. But if you believe that, you probably don't support the administrative state. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. Now, here is the issue that I have. If you show up in court, in the courthouse, and you're told and you're turned away and you've got that on tape, well, okay, you might think, man, I'm a winner. I'm going to win this case. No one's going to be able to, I'm done. We're good. I got this, right? That's what you might think, but you might be wrong. You have to prove that audio tape, assuming it was legal to record, it's a public place, right? There's a public interest in filming that outweighs the state interest, right? There's a public interest that outweighs the state interest in privacy. If you can prove all that, holy crap. I have to look over here because I'm seeing more stuff and I don't want to be a dickhead, but man, Chevy's throwing me stuff. I'm getting all these donations, dude. And QLTBO, thank you again for, all right. I got another $2 from NQI OTVO. Holy crap, man. You guys are unbelievable, man. All right. I got to, Chili, you keep giving, Chili, just throw me $100 for crying out loud instead of sending me the dollars. I got to get this show going, man. We had all these people. I am feeling like a stripper. Kinetic Custom says, are you feeling like a stripper? Oh, man, you guys are killing me. So, all right. We have to prove that we didn't break the chain of custody. Now, how are you going to prove that? You've got Chevy. Salt Shaker. What's going on, Salt Shaker? Yeah. You've got to be able to prove that. So you have to provide, by the way, guys, one of my friends reached out to me a couple weeks ago asking me all these questions about, like how, like I got all these motions and this and that. And I'm like, well, did you do objections to evidence in that Rule 56 or whatever the motion was, demur, whatever it was. And of course they didn't. And I was like, well, that's mandatory. Like if someone files a summary judgment motion and they file declarations, you have to file written objections. And he didn't really understand that because nobody ever really explained it to him, right? So I said, get the freaking practice guide. So in California, you'd use the Rudder Group. So if it's a civil case, you'd want to get the Rudder Group on civil practice and procedure. If it's in Arizona, you want to get their practice guide. It's not Rudder Group. It's going to be, but Thompson West usually has some good ones. Now, when here's how I learned. So when I got my externship with the California Court of Appeal, Justice Hastings had this big rotunda of all the practice guides. And he was like, well, this is what we use. I was like, wait a minute, you're an appellate justice. You don't have canned stuff. It's like, no, we got the practice guides. We got the Rudder Group. So what we'll do is we'll get the Rudder Group, and then we'll have our law clerks go into our law library, and then they'll shepherdize everything, right? And I'll tell you guys what shepardizing is later. And then they'll look at the pocket parts, they'll look at the updated pocket parts, and that's how and I learned in the law library, we didn't have Westlaw and all this fancy stuff. So this brother of mine reached out a couple weeks ago. I was like, no, dude, get the freaking civil practice and procedure for your state. All right. And he got it. He didn't buy the book. He didn't have to, because he already had access, I think, to West or Lexis. I can't remember, but he had one of these online programs, and boom, he found the practice guide. He found the section about objecting to evidence, and he learned everything he needed to know. Well, conversely, in a case like this, I would recommend that you would get the practice guides and you'd look at admissibility of evidence and chain of custody. So if you have it on tape, just because you have it on tape, it doesn't mean that a freaking doggone judge is just going to let you enter that into evidence. Remember, who writes the check for the judge? Is it we the people, or is it the county or the state? You always have to remember that. Who's paying this guy? Who's going to promote that dude? Who's going to promote him? Because if it's Obama, he's only going to promote somebody who's going to go after his political enemies. Lois Lerner, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page. I mean, basically Obama basically filled all of our administrative agencies up with far left Marxists who hate Americans, who support the Second Amendment, who support the First Amendment, right? Like if you believe in free speech and you say something bad about a dude who dresses up like a woman, right, you're going to go to prison, because they're copying the British model, right? Say something bad about jihadists that they're flooding your country with, you're going to prison because that's racist or homophobic or whatever they want to call it. But it's definitely not free speech. So just remember that, y'all. Just remember what I'm telling you, because that's the reality of the situation. All right. So Chevy says, what does a frog use to keep away burglars? A lily padlock. I love it, man. And now Chili said I had to pick up some things for an upcoming trip. Hey, Chili, man, if you want to come and join my brothers, I know you're not really big on the military, but one thing that I've always tried to teach you about the military is most people like me, especially Marines or Navy SEALs who've served in the military, we served for the brotherhood. We didn't serve for the country, because we realized after we got out that the country lied to us. So that's why people like me support you, Chili. All right. So it's okay. You don't have to stay long, brother. It's all good. All right. So anyways, you need to be able to take that evidence, and you need to be able to authenticate that evidence. You need to be able to show that the chain of custody was not broken. Give me a bunch of ones if you understand that. So just because you showed up in court, now all of a sudden they've issued a warrant for your arrest. It's a problem. You still have to get the judge to quash that warrant. And you can't just go in there and say, I got it on tape. Here it is on my phone. The judge may not go for that. And I always recommend you have a lawyer, because your own worst enemy is yourself, right? Like Abraham Lincoln said, all it takes, to be, what do they say? If you open, it's better to be considered a fool and remain silent than open your mouth and remove all doubt. Now, if you had me come in, I would have a sworn declaration, and I would have all the evidence lined out on such and such a date. I appeared in court on this date. On such and such a date, I spoke with court clerk so-and-so. On such and such a date, she told me this. Here is a transcript. Here's a transcript of the court proceeding. This transcript was taken in front of a notary public. I would have a notary public sign that that's what that notary public heard. You following me? King's Bench. Google the King's Bench sometime. That's what the notary public is. So that is a representative of the state. Get them to sign off on it. And then I would file that with the court. And I would have that available, assuming that the judge is going to rule against. I always assume that the judge will rule against me. I never, ever assume that I'm going to get justice. I always, always, always am creating a record, assuming that I'm going to get those silver handcuffs put on me. Give me a bunch of ones if you understand. Okay, I want to make sure that you guys know what I'm talking about. This is no joke. You need to be creating a freaking record that is so airtight that no politically appointed representative of the court system would ever rule against you lest they know that their job is over, right? Because that's what it's really about. All right. So, all right, I see all the ones. I get it. And by the way, guys, give me a bunch of ones for Chili DeCastro. I think this is the longest I've ever seen him ever remain on one of my shows. So that means a lot to me. By the way, Chili, what's going on with the board game? When can I start helping you promote your board game? Guys, I really think that Chili is onto something. His timeline was off the charts. It was amazing. I was really impressed. I met him with Dick Heller years ago at his top secret Batcave office, and he showed us his timeline, and it was unbelievable. This dude was able to, better than any law professor I've ever met, completely break down all of our Supreme Court justices, and a lot of the what I consider to be treasonous activity, payoffs from large corporations, and show me how laws shaped our country based upon large corporations, basically shaping our laws. So it was really amazing. Good job, Chili. Outstanding. Chili says his game is almost completed. He has 2 lines done. All right. 2 lines done. Good for you, brother. All right. All right. So just understand that's number 1. Number 2, because I'm already in 36 minutes. And so the next issue is hypothetical. Let's say that my mom gets rear-ended in a car accident and she doesn't know what to do, right? But let's say that my mom already has a past history with a brain injury, so she's not all there. If I'm 55, right, that means my mom's got to be at least 70. So that with the fluoride that they put in our water and all the garbage they put in our food, the seed oils, right? They want us to be retarded, right? Because they can sell us prescription medicine, right? Give me a bunch of ones if you agree that the government and the big pharmaceutical companies that they support want you stupid because they want to sell you drugs, because we know that doctors get a kickback, right? Do they or do they not get a kickback for every prescription that they write you? Do they not get some money back from big pharma? Do they or do they not? I'd like to know. You tell me, because I got to be careful what I say on YouTube, because they are representatives, in my opinion, of the WHO, which the current administration considers to be the enemy of the American people, and which many doctors who were silenced over the last 5 years also believe are the enemy of the American people, like holistic healers, shamans, people who believe in natural healing, natural immunity. They do not like big pharma. And so they were silenced, according to many experts, to create a false impression of unity. Like, oh, I am science, and everybody else who disagrees with me is anti-vax or anti-science, right? So we got to know what's going on with that, right? It's called cha-ching. So we always have to remember that. So, but let's say hypothetically that your mom, who's maybe 75 or 80 years old, gets in a rear end accident. She's not at fault, and she's already been treating for a brain injury. So what's her first reaction? Oh my, I don't want to cause any trouble. I just, I'm not going to do anything. I'll just go to the chiropractor. Big mistake. The first thing that you need to do is make sure that your mother never goes to a chiropractor, in my opinion, especially if she's been treating for a brain injury. Step 1, take an ambulance to the hospital, always, because you don't know when the adrenaline wears off how bad it's going to be. If you're seeing birdies flying around, if you're blacked out for what you think is a second, for guys like me and Chili, we know that, I don't know, I've been in so many street fights, I can't even count them. But every time I got knocked out, every single time, I thought it was out for a second. How did I know I was knocked out for longer? Well, because it was dark when I woke up, all right? You don't know how long you've been unconscious. Every time you drop your computer on the ground, it damages your hard drive. And I'm sure Chili would agree with me on this. So thanks, Chevy. Chevy just threw me another buck. And by the way, Chevy, if I've been ignoring you, it's not that I've been ignoring you. It's just that I want to get through with this, man. I want to get through with the show, brother. But I appreciate it. But yeah, if you have had a situation where you've been knocked unconscious, you don't know how long you've been knocked out. And so I do catastrophic injury cases for a living. And that's why I'm overqualified to be sharing this with you. If you're in a situation where your mom got rear-ended, all right, and she says, I saw black or I saw birdies flying around my head, that is automatic. You got to ask her that because she's just going to be like a typical old school, like a Lutheran, right? Like innocent, thinks everyone's going to be honest. She doesn't understand that the Obama administrative state and Big Mike don't give a shit about us. So you got to remember that. So what's going to happen is she's going to go to a chiropractor. She's going to hire like the first lawyer she finds on Google or the yellow pages, because most old ladies are using the yellow pages, right? And let us find whoever had the most money to pay for advertising or who had enough money to pay to get listed in super lawyers, right? That doesn't mean they're the best lawyer. It just means that they figured out how to manipulate the algorithm. So forget about all that. Listen to what I'm telling you, because I was trained by multi-billionaires. One of them was Michael Hughes, one of the most successful lawyers in this world. And he's the one who won the billions and billions of dollars against Philip Morris. And he told me that he felt that the greatest enemy of the Democrat Party was Big Pharma. And that was before he passed away. Probably about a month later, he passed away. Or maybe, well, several months later. But the bottom line is he was right. He was right because he had sued Philip Morris and he had seen that all these doctors that Philip Morris hired would lie and say that cigarettes are good for you. Cigarettes are safe and effective, right? They're good for pregnant women, right? So I just want you guys to understand, this is what CNN was pushing back in 2020. Oh, it's safe and effective. It's good for you. If you disagree, you're anti this or you're anti that, or you're a Trumper or whatever. I don't know. Anyways, thank you, Chevy. Another $2, another $1 for Chevy. Gosh, you guys are killing me, man. You guys are freaking killing me right now. Thanks, Broussard. Good seeing you, brother. Smash that algorithm. That's right. Gosh, this is unbelievable, man. This is a super chat bonanza. I know it's because of you, Chili. Like, that's one thing about me, guys, is I understand and I give credit where credit's due. I wouldn't even be here right now if it wasn't for this guy. So it means a lot to me that you guys are supporting me. But I really, honestly, I really wanted to have a YouTube channel because I wanted to help people. And again, most of the referrals and the leads that I get from my channel are from other states where I'm not licensed. But I still feel obligated to help you. So again, let me finish what I have to say. Stop giving me so many donations because you know that I'm obligated to thank you. God damn it. All right. So gosh darn it. Sorry, YouTube. I don't want to make any insults against the people that you hate most, which is God and creation and our Lord, because I know you guys are all a bunch of devil worshipers, but sorry anyways. Delete laws. Delete laws. Chili says, just trying to add to the long list of people who are jumping in to donate to Michael. I'm down right now, but I still want to participate. I got you, Chili. And look, I know that you're probably the reason why all these people are here today, man, but you're 99% of the reason they're here because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. But anyways, let me get into this. So, because I still have a lot to go through. I've still got to get into Lane Myers and what's going on with him and Reluctant Prophet. And I just want I want to get through this first part of the show because now we're almost like almost 44 minutes in. All right. So your mom gets rear-ended. All right. So what do? First thing you do is make sure she goes to the emergency room. Second thing you do is make sure she talks about the fact that she was knocked unconscious, that she saw stars. Even if she doesn't say I was knocked unconscious, I saw stars. I don't know if I was knocked out or not. My head hit the back of the seat. The head right here. My head hit the seat. My head hit the window. I went sideways. Oh, sorry, man. I just messed up my back. You just say you make sure she gets a medical record because that medical record is what's going to build your case. That medical record is admissible evidence to show date, time, and place of injury. And that's the most important thing that you can do, all right, to build that case. It's okay, brother. I'm good, man. And QIOTVO says, hope you're okay. I'm good, man. You know, I already know my time is short. And I guess that's another reason why I'm trying to share things with y'all. So just keep that in mind that you need to go to the hospital and you need to get a medical record, because that's going to be admissible as evidence. So tonight, for one of my viewers, I hope that you understand how this works. Okay, so the first part of the inquiry is what happens if there's a false accusation that you failed to appear. You can't just think that your phone recording is going to be enough. You need to get it transcribed. I would recommend having a court reporter verify that that's a true and correct copy of what they heard. Then you have to put in a declaration that that phone never left your hands, that the chain of custody was never broken to where it could have never. And the same thing goes with a car accident, right? When you get in a car accident, you best pick up every single piece of stuff that was scattered across the debris field. Take a picture first. You best do that. And you best put it in a box and take that with you and keep that in a vault so you can prove later that it never broke your chain of custody. So all chain of custody means that it never left your custody. That's all it means. So remember that, and get the gall darn practice guide for your state, whether it's criminal or civil. Get the freaking practice guide. Especially guys like Lane Myers, when you go under the fire like this, get the practice guide. Guys like Chili's and Sharon Cali, get the Rudder Group, man. That's what all the appellate lawyers do, and that's what the appellate justice, who I externed for, did. And every single justice at the fourth, all of them were using the Rudder Group. And then, of course, we would always shepherdize it, go to the law library, and we would do it that way. And you younger guys are going to use Westlaw or LexisNexis. But for me, I like going to the law library. All right. For me personally, I'd rather go to the law library, bust open the pocket parts while we still have a law library, and do it that way, because that's the way I learned. That's the way I was trained. And guys like Direct Meth say that I'm a fake lawyer. I would venture to say that scumbag doesn't even know what shepherdize means. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. I can't believe that guy has that many subscribers. I didn't know that crystal meth was that invasive in the brains of the American people. Now, let's get. So let me just take a look here in the sidebar. Hey, Riot Hoot, thanks for joining me. Mia's Tarot, Chevy, all you guys, Kinetic Customs. Yeah, you need to study, brother. That's right, Kinetic. I would get the freaking practice guide. If it's criminal, it's procedural. Get criminal practice and procedure, right? Civil practice and procedure, and do it that way. That's the way I would handle it. I mean, you don't really need. Yeah, I see that, Chili. Yeah, it's just me being who I am. You know, I'm pretty animated. All right. So let's get into what's going on with Lane. So do you guys have any questions before I move on with respect to someone in your family gets in a car accident, how they need to handle it, right? So just so you know, they go to the hospital, right? They don't call the first lawyer that they see on Super Lawyers or whatever. They ask a friend or a family member, someone they know who's good, right? Or, that's how you do it. That's how you find some, or even go on YouTube and see if you like the personality, because it doesn't matter how good your lawyer is. If you guys don't get along, or the guy's a dickhead, you don't want that as your lawyer. I spent 3 hours at the pain management center 2 days ago, and I walked out and I got my deductible money refunded, and I'm in the process of trying to find a new pain management doctor. Why? Because I lost probably a couple $1,000s in potential income that I could have used to support my wife and kids, right? And so if you have some prima donna doctor or some prima donna lawyer who doesn't understand that you have a life, that you have a family, and that you deserve to be treated just as good as they want to be treated, right? When doctors go out, right, they expect to be treated like royalty. When a multi-billionaire lawyer goes out or a celebrity goes out, they want to be treated like they're special, right? So why the hell wouldn't they treat you just as good as they want to be treated? If they don't want to give you that, then they can go to hell. That's my opinion. Okay, so I see another one. Oh my gosh, another $20. Miss Chikaker says, heal yourself, we need you. Oh, I appreciate you saying that, ma'am. That means a lot to me. By the way, guys, I'm going to need some help with Miss Chikarer. First of all, I'd like you to like and subscribe to her channel. I plan on working with her on some projects that have to do with civil rights and things of that nature, as well as you, Chili, as well. I plan on working with her, and I would like it if you guys were all involved. an amazing woman, and I really, really appreciate her. And I'd like to build a parallel systems to where we can work with people like her who are like us. So, anyways, so again, car accident, rear end accident, go to the hospital. Don't just hire someone out of super lawyers. Don't assume that. By the way, Better Business Bureau, if you want to get your 5-star rating, for me, I think I was having to pay them $500 a year to maintain my 5-star rating. So don't think that Better Business Bureau, any of these things are real. It's all about money. The best way to find somebody that you want to hire is, in my opinion, run as far as you can from the internet, run as far as you can from BBB and all these sites. If you really want to find someone, go to Verdicts and Settlements, number one, to see what their verdicts and settlements are. But if they're a new lawyer, you can't expect them to have that. But if they've got the gusto, if they've got that Marine Corps spirit, then you want it. You're going to find that out from friends and family. If you find out that this person, this woman or this man, because there's two of us, right? There's two types, and some once in a while, like less than 0.25%, you might find a hermaphrodite, but you know what I mean. If you find that they're personable, that you feel that they will cater to your needs the way that you would cater, the way that you would treat someone else. Like, remember your grandparents told you about the golden rule? Those are the people that you want to hire. You don't want to hire somebody who puts themselves first or is all about themselves. Screw those people, man. Right, Bruce? Right? Why would you want to hire somebody like that, Bruce R? Like really? I mean, think about it, man. Why would you want to do that, Mia Stero? I mean, like, I would have already left Nevada and moved to El Salvador with my wife and kids, but we have my son. We have his Muay Thai instructor, Coach Renzo, and we have his sensei in judo, Sensei Joshua Rice. And so, and I even told him we would have already left the country if it wasn't for you guys, because my main goal is to teach my son the samurai code and the samurai spirit. And that's God's honest truth. I would have been out of here because I can work remotely and I can fly up to the US to meet clients. So that's the truth. So I want you to think about that. So you get in this accident, you find a decent lawyer, or you try to do it pro se. But if you do it pro se, let me tell you how you got to do it. You get in the car accident, all right? Go to the hospital, you get those medical records. The insurance adjuster is going to want to have a statement from you, okay? If you don't give the statement, they're not going to settle, all right? If you don't give them a statement where they record a recorded statement, they're not going to settle. So I always recommend you hire a lawyer because of that. Now, the counter argument is, well, lawyers charge so much money. Well, it's proven that having a lawyer, even by paying the attorney's fee, you still get more money to yourself because they know how to do all the tricks and the things that you don't know how to do. Now, if you want to do the things that we know how to do, I'll teach you, right? I became a lawyer with no law degree or undergrad, and I can teach you how to do what I did. However, they also have something in their computer system where they know that they've dealt with you before and they know that you're an animal and that you can kick their ass, right? So keep that in mind. The insurance companies know who I am. I've recovered well over $500 million for my clients over the last 20 years. And they know that. And so they know that I'm a force to be reckoned with. And because of that, they know that they need to probably pay me more or risk going to trial against me or one of my associates, right? Because I'm sick of doing trial. You get it. Okay. So what you want to do is do that or do it yourself. So you got a choice. Now, if you do it yourself, here's what you have to do. Get those medical records. Get a final diagnostic report from your treating physician. I don't recommend using a chiropractor. They're not looked upon with much respect by courts or by insurance companies. They call them bone crackers. I recommend getting an orthopedist, having the orthopedist get them to a proper physical therapist, and then having that physical therapist give you a proper diagnostic report. Now, listen, they're going to probably want $250 to $500 for that diagnostic report on average, which you'll have to pay for out of pocket. Now, my firm, I pay that. I cover that I advance that cost, all right? I'm not allowed to tell you that I will waive those costs at the end of the case. All right. That's illegal in California, at least. In Texas, I think it's the same thing. I'm not allowed to say in advance that I'll waive your costs. Now, I can say that if I don't win your case, in every single case that I haven't won, I've never charged my clients costs ever, because I know that you're going to hate me and you're going to say bad things about me. And I'm all about my reputation, right? I want people to like and trust me because I know you have a family and you have kids. So I'm not going to do that, but I'm not going to take a case that I don't think I can win either. So that less than 0.25% of the cases I take, I don't get money for. Okay. Keep that in mind. Give me a bunch of ones if you understand. I don't take cases that I can't win. A lot of people get pissed off when I won't take their case, but that's your problem, because I've got enough experience to know when you've got to lose your case. And if you don't respect that about me, then you're an idiot, because you should be trying to learn from me instead of trying to second guess me. All right. So here's the deal. You want to make sure you get those records. You want to make sure you get that final diagnostic report. You send that off to the insurance adjuster. And then you engage in settlement negotiations. All right. Settlement negotiations. They're going to offer you something which is usually 40 to 50% lower than you could settle it for. Right. Always know that the first offer is never the final offer. All right. And then you're going to banter back and forth. If you're not a lawyer, if you don't have any sales training, if you've never done car sales, you need to call somebody like me who's got experience, knowledge, and skill. Now, the downside is if you're not in California or Texas, I'm not going to be able to help you. And that's why I'm trying to develop parallel systems with other lawyers in other states that I like and trust, so I can help you find someone who's good, so you don't get screwed. And so that's right, Bruce. They always lowball the first times. And Kinetic Custom says, I have the worldwide sales record for electric. Hey, dude, I'm with you. But remember, all your experience is in electric. So you've got the basic skill set, but you still have to learn the skill of lawyering, right? And that takes time. So again, the practice guides are the first step in learning. All right. You have to get those practice guides. All right. So hopefully I've explained enough. If you guys have additional questions, you've got to get it to me later, because now let's get into what's going on with Lane Myers. All right. So Lane Myers, as you know, he's sort of known as the pro se idiot. And I think he gave himself that name. So no disrespect intended. So the way I learned about him is there was this lefty college professor who didn't like him, and she tried to get it. And I guess she's also a lawyer, like she's a law professor. And so she tried to get a restraining order against him. He won against her. She didn't like it that he was audio recording in court. He put stuff on YouTube. She didn't like that. And it turns out that her husband, apparently, and this is in Arizona, so I'm not going to practice law without a license in Arizona. I'm narrating this as someone who's a concerned citizen, all right? Apparently, her husband is a city attorney. And so I work for the city attorney in LA, and I could say unequivocally that 90% of our public officials, government employees, are hardcore lefties, right? Hardcore lefty Marxists. They went to the public school system, the colleges. They, basically people who buy into the whole BLM nonsense, right? Anti-American, all white men are evil. That's kind of their deal, in my opinion. So Lane Myers, of course, quirky dude, has no ability to engage in what we would consider to be proper courtroom decorum. And he wears a freaking Make America Great Again hat. I mean, if you want to make a college professor hate you, or a public servant like a city attorney or a prosecutor hate you, just wear a Make America Great Again hat and see what happens, right? I mean, look what happened to Trump. I mean, all those charges, George Soros prosecutors, lawfare, and it's still happening, in my opinion, right now in Arizona. So let me just lay a foundation. Really quick. All right. So in Arizona, from what I've been able to find, there was no statute that directly criminalizes disrespecting someone's wife. And that's what I think is going on here, as a standalone offense. However, a prosecutor who's married to a woman who was disrespected could theoretically stretch existing laws to fit the behavior, depending on what the disrespect means. In this hypothetical, for example, if the disrespect involved physical violence, which I haven't seen any evidence of that, The research that I did, again, this is just as a non-attorney, just somebody who goes to Arizona and has friends there. ARS Section 13-1203, domestic violence, or ARS Section 13-3601 could come into play. If there were verbal threats like threatening or intimidating, ARS 13-1202 could come into play. If it was extreme emotional abuse, they could try something creative like disorderly conduct, like ARS 13-2904. But my opinion is, again, as a non-attorney, that would be a stretch unless it's public and disruptive. All right, but here's the catch. A prosecutor would need probable cause that a crime had occurred. So I don't know what the court order was, and we're going to get into some videos in a little while to find out like how it is that this happened. But what appears to have happened is a city attorney who's married to this woman who's a law professor, who, by the way, I watched the case. I watched the case with her against Lane on YouTube, and she really, you could tell she's never really, in my opinion, practiced law, right? Like she really didn't seem like she knew what she was doing. First of all, she represented herself pro se. So that told me a lot right there. And so in my opinion, that was the biggest mistake that she made. And of course, Lane is a freaking animal. I mean, apparently his wife clerked for a federal judge. And by the way, because of what happened, he's alleging that this woman or her husband got his wife fired. So he was on fire going in there defending his wife the same way that apparently this city attorney is defending his wife. Give me a bunch of ones if you understand the setup. I'm trying to lay a foundation. Tell me if I'm doing a good job so far, all right? Or add something in the comments if you think I missed something. What's up, Canon 0311? Hoorah! Semper Fi Marine. I got Canon 0311 saying, evening, brother. Rah. Right on, brother. That's right. And by the way, for you guys who don't know, an 0311 is an infantry Marine. The best of the best. That's why he joined the Marine Corps. I can't imagine why he'd want to do anything else other than being in the infantry, unless you're going to be in the Corps. I think the Navy can do everything else, but that's another story for another day. What's up, Mr. Gold? Guys, give me a bunch of ones for Mr. Gold. My homeboy, Mr. Gold, just joined us, and Mr. Gold is part of the never-ending saga of Reluctant Prophet and Lane Myers. If you guys know, if you don't know, well, now you know, you know. Okay, so the bottom line is we have a foundational setup, right? We have what appears to be a husband defending his wife. They're both part of the administrative state, what I call the deep state, the anti-American, commie, Marxist deep state. And they don't like Lane Myers, who wears a MAGA hat, all right? And he's quirky. He doesn't give a crap about cussing in court. He's not engaged in a proper courtroom decorum, nor should he have to, based upon Balistreri versus Pacifica Police Department, unless he's warned in advance and given a warning that he could be held in contempt if he doesn't stop. But as a general rule, the Court of Appeals has a duty to ensure that a pro se litigant is not denied a fair hearing on the merits of their claim due to ignorance of technical or procedural requirements. Copy that? Balistreri, Balistreri, shepherdize that case and look at it with respect to your case. So if you are someone who's pro per, like I was for many years, you'll understand what that means, because it's very, very important for you to understand if you are going to be as brave as a guy like Lane. Now, as an aside, in between all this happening, we know that Direct Meth and him had a falling out. Apparently, Direct Meth didn't like it, that Lane wasn't bowing and kissing his ring, that somehow Direct Meth made Lane Myers famous. And then soon thereafter, allegedly, somebody fired pot shots at Lane's home. So, guys, I mean, I don't care what you think of Lane. Nobody deserves to have their house shot up just because they're engaged in a First Amendment protected activity, especially by someone who allegedly believes in the Constitution and First Amendment protected activities. But again, if you're driving around with your friends and flash a light in the eyes of a cop and you get pulled over, maybe in Denver or something, and then let the driver of the car get the ticket instead of you because you have warrants for your arrest, you're probably a piece of shit. So let's move on now to, okay, so Chevy's leaving. So MPE, say goodnight to Chevy. So guys, give me a bunch of ones for Chevy. Thank you, Chevy, for supporting the channel. And God bless you, Chevy. I'm glad that your health is okay. And, God bless you, brother. All right. So, yeah, it is getting a little late. It's already freaking doggone. Damn, it's already like what, 19:45. All right. All right. So basically, I have it on good authority that the next video that I'm going to show is going to kind of break down what happened with Lane Myers. So this is post his house getting shot up. All right. So his house gets shot up allegedly, because I don't know all the facts yet. All right. And then this is going to be part 2. So let's get into the rest of the show. And let me see. Hopefully I've got it all opened up here for y'all to see. All right, let's get into it. Hopefully we got sound.
Okay, this is case C.
Oh, and by the way, I forgot one last little piece. So here's what it looks like. Based on my understanding, it appears as though the husband of this woman, who's this college professor named, hold on, stand by. Let me get back here. Shannon Walker. Okay, here's what I understand. Shannon Walker, who went after Lane Myers and lost, she works at U of A College. And she tried to get a protective order against Lane, and he won that. All right. And he's a non-attorney, so she probably didn't like that. And again, her husband is actually a prosecutor for the city attorney, Pima, based on what I understand. The charges were dropped, and then the guy's name is Matt Walker. And so he's also the same guy, by the way, who filed this motion with the appellate court to try to get Rule 122H revised so Lane could no longer record in court. And apparently now Lane had 7 or 14 of Lane's videos were used by the city prosecutor. I guess he forwarded or referred charges to the county prosecutor. I guess that kind of cleaned his hands, right? Allegedly, again, I don't know this to be certain, to the county prosecutor. So remember, city prosecutor, misdemeanors and infractions, county prosecutors, felonies. That's pretty much standard in every state that I'm aware of. So at least in California and Texas, which is where I can tell you for certainty that's the case. So anyways, the county prosecutor goes ahead and lodges at least 7 or 14 felony charges against Lane Myers. Now, I don't know enough about it. And again, I've been on my back for the last couple of days. So I'm going to go ahead and play you this video and a couple of videos, and it's going to take some time. So bear with me, all right? So we can learn about what happened and why this is going on. But here we go. Here comes the first video. This first video is, hold on a minute. First video we're going to show you is freaking 8 minutes. The next one's 3 hours. So I don't know if we're going to be able to get through it all tonight, but let's get into it.
0017. Before we get started, we have a few housekeeping matters. Please be advised that this is considered a public hearing. You are subject to the same rules.
What the hell is all the background noise? Somebody's got their speakerphone on. Try to listen as best as you can, y'all.
If you were sitting here in court with me, 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. I expect all members of the public and both parties to exhibit the same level of respect that courtroom decorum requires.
In that vein, please silence any electronic devices.
Before we get started, we have a few housekeeping matters. If you must take an urgent call or respond to a message, I ask that you read the Google Meet and come back when you are able to give your full time and attention. I expect all members of the public and both parties to exhibit. I have granted no permission in my discretion that anyone be authorized to broadcast. In that vein, please silence any electronic devices, including message alerts, while this judicial proceedings pursuant to Rule 23-107, if you must take an urgent call or respond to a message, paragraph F of the New Mexico Annotated Rules, and let me be clear that any violation of this rule or any court rule, I have granted no permission in my discretion, including but not limited to removal from the proceeding. Fines will be levied, being held in contempt, and denial of further argument on any motion or any relief requested in this hearing. All right, parties, please state your appearances, and we'll begin our motions hearing that's on calendar today.
Ken Walkwitz on behalf of the state.
Thank you, Mr. Walquist. Mr. Myers? You're muted, sir.
If you're here in Las Vegas, right now we have an offer going on where we can get you a brand new, super efficient air conditioning and heating system, a system that's going to be able to do both.
For $0 down and starting at just
All right,
$115 a month.
If you guys are interested, if you'd like to.
Well, hold up. So guys, it looks like so one of my credit cards got stolen, so I'm getting hit with these stupid advertisements. So let me skip it. Sorry about that. I apologize.
Lane Myers. Sorry about that. Lane Myers.
I got to update
All right,
my
thank
credit
you.
card again.
Both
I
parties are
apologize.
present via Google Meet, appearing remotely. We have a number of motions that we are going to be dealing with. So let's begin. We'll go in chronological order. The first motion is a motion to dismiss filed on behalf of defendant February 17th of 2025. I'm also in receipt of the state's response to that motion. Any additional argument? I don't want to rehash what's already in the motions. I read through both of them, but I will conduct any additional.
Yeah, I'd like Kent Walquist.
Wait, Mr. Myers, hold on.
My bad.
So I'm going to entertain any additional.
So that's the only issue that I have, really, guys. Like, so because Lane doesn't have formal legal training, he does tend to interrupt and interject a lot and cut people off. And so that really makes it hard to push the proceedings forward. And so that's why, because he's got such a great legal mind, I was hoping that I could help him because that's really the only area that I see that he's got issues with when it comes to dealing with the court system. If he was able to engage in better courtroom decorum, I believe that he probably could be one of the top lawyers in the history of the United States. That's just my opinion. The guy is really amazing. But anyways, let's get into it because I'm not trying to insult the guy. I'm being constructive here because, it says in the Bible, that if a brother rebukes you, that you have to take it as a blessing. So let's get into it.
Additional arguments that are not contained in your papers. Go ahead, sir.
Kent Walquist, the burden's on him.
Well, you brought the motion, sir. So the motion is on, the burden is on you.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, I know that part, but you're saying any additional arguments. I want to respond to it, and you said I can't make anything. So I want to say that my response to that is tell him to put his money where his mouth is. What facts are in dispute? What facts are in dispute? Show us some documented proof. What facts? Literally, the motion contains a copy and paste of his facts that he put in the motion to suppress. So in the motion to dismiss, they're not the relevant facts, but in the motion to suppress, they are. This guy is absolutely incompetent.
All right. Mr. Walquist, any further illumination on your argument?
No, Your Honor.
All right.
Why not, bro?
Mr. Myers?
Back it up.
Your motion in February 17, 2025 is denied. All right. Defendant's second motion was filed.
Okay, so obviously, in a case like that, I would immediately seek either an interlocutory appeal on a question of law alone, or I would file a writ of prohibition or mandamus or mandate, depending on your state. And again, this is only going to be if you're in California or Texas. This is Arizona, so I'm not really sure what their procedures are, but that's where I'm going. And obviously, habeas corpus is going to be something you got to think about if they're trying to deprive him of his freedom. So let's keep going.
Can you put on the record why it was denied?
Because you haven't articulated a basis for dismissal, Mr. Myers. All the facts that you're alleging are in dispute. And
legal reason. He hasn't he failed to reach the. All right, ma'am. The best thing to do is we adjourn this hearing and you recuse yourself.
Okay, we're past the point of recusal, Mr. Myers. So
we'll find out after the hearing. I'll be filing for you to be recused after this hearing, and I'm going to be filing an appeal to the district court of these motions.
Okay, these are pretrial motions.
They're interlocutory appeal. I'm getting you out of here as fast as we can. You're off your rocker.
All right. So
tell me how.
By the way, guys, just so you know, I have not watched this video. So just the fact that this is a guy, I've been practicing law for over 20 years. The fact that he's basically saying what I just said tells you the guy's no joke. The issue is that he doesn't have the experience of having done it many, many times. And because he's pissing off the judge, even though she's acting like she's not upset, it makes it more difficult. It really does. And I care about the guy. I want him to succeed. So I'm not like trying to prove that I'm smart or better than anyone else. I just want him to, I want him to win. So anyways, let's keep going. You know, let's keep going. Here we go.
Mr. Myers, Mr. Myers.
No.
We're taking.
You put on the
Mr.
record.
Myers, I'm going to warn you. I'm
How
going to
did I
warn you
fail
for
the
the first
legal
time.
argument? Those were
We're
address
taking
the legal argument.
You will not
Address the
court in
legal
a hostile
argument.
manner.
Address the legal
Myers.
argument.
Mr. Myers.
Address the legal arguments.
Okay.
Are you in a personal relationship with Kent Walquist?
Hey guys, Toby Mathis here, and question I get all the
Hold
time
on,
is,
guys.
how do I make my
Yeah,
personal assets invisible? Well, first
Hold
off,
on,
can
I
you
got-
even do
what the
that?
hell
And the
happened?
answer is yes, you absolutely can. I'm going to
Trying
show
to
you
find it.
3 major issues that you need to hit, and then I'm going to
I
invite
can't even
you
find
to
the
a
damn
special
thing
event.
anymore. It's like
So number
disappeared on
1
me.
is obscurity.
All
I
right, so
call
I
it
can't find the
security through
freaking link to the video.
obscurity.
Something
And what
happened.
we're
Here we
doing
go.
here is we're using a
All right,
system
stand by.
of trust.
This is a problem, guys. This is a problem. I'm going to skip it.
Mr. Myers, I am well aware of
I,
my ethical obligation to disclose any personal
Hold on.
relationship.
Thank
and I
you.
am
Now
not
put a
disclosing-
legal argument on the record.
All right, so guys, I apologize for that. So again, my credit card got stolen, so I had the ads free thing going on, and now they're popping ads every couple of seconds. So this is freaking ridiculous. Anyways, just so you know, so the judge isn't happy because he keeps cutting her off, and that is a violation of the rules of court in pretty much every jurisdiction I've ever heard of. All right, because the court has no appearance of authority, right? If you treat the court like they're insignificant. And so the court probably feels like they're being treated insignificant. So that's the only real critique that I have. And then and Mia Stero says telling her off as well. Well, he's not a happy camper because in his mind these are false charges. So I respect that. But man, what an embarrassment. My gosh, man, Google is really giving it to me tonight, man. I got to go find my wallet and pay for my freaking... Guys, here's what we're going to probably do. Because I know that like every 10 minutes I'm going to get hit with a TV commercial. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get through this video. I'm going to talk about what I got to talk about. I'm going to go ahead and pay whatever fee I have to pay to stop these commercials from running. And then tomorrow night, I need LifeLock. And then tomorrow, yeah, you're right, bro. Integrity Now News says I need LifeLock. Well, yeah, but it doesn't matter. Once they steal your credit card, you got to get a new credit card. And so as it is now, I've had like a bunch of my subscriptions canceled, insurance payments not going through. Like, dude, it is a nightmare. So it makes it that much easier for BlackRock and all their Satanist Luciferian friends to make sure you get that little mark on your hand or forehead, right? But let's go ahead and we'll keep watching. We'll keep watching, and I'll just watch the video. And as soon as I see a freaking doggone commercial come on, I'm going to fast forward it. And then what we'll do is we'll come on tomorrow and we'll wrap this bad chicken up. All right. Because by the way, my back is really hurting me anyways. So, we'll do what we can, guys. But at least you guys see I'm covering Lane, and God bless him, man. If I had him studying under me under the law study program, I do believe that he could be one of the best lawyers in the history of the United States, bar none. Let's keep going.
Dispute my legal argument. You said I didn't articulate. There's 30 pages of articulated legal argument. Argue state for Ortiz. Argue how state versus Ortiz doesn't apply here. Tell me how this fucking toilet cleaner has authority.
Okay, I'm going to warn you for the second
You ain't
time.
gonna warn me shit.
I'm going to
use the language I use. This is a common man in a common court. This is not your church, Kathy.
Mr. Myers, I'm going to warn you for the second time that you will address the court in the manner that it is befitting in a
And
courtroom.
you're going to address the court in a legal manner, and you're going to articulate your position. How you don't get to say, "Oh, the motion is denied." Tell me the legal arguments, how they don't apply. Articulate your position. Come on, Kathy. Use your big brain and come on. You had 2 weeks to do this. Articulate how my arguments don't apply. You're failing to address the legal arguments. The facts are not in dispute. If all the state has to do is every single time somebody files a motion to dismiss, so all they got to do is say, "Oh, they're in dispute," not actually articulate an argument in dispute. The facts are not in dispute because they're the same facts he uses in his motion to suppress. The facts are not in dispute. The legal arguments can be addressed. The legal arguments are no crimes are fucking committed, no probable cause, no reasonable suspicion. The goddamn toilet cleaner cannot tell somebody to leave. Okay, so you get your fucking legal arguments together and put them on the record right now. Speak into this microphone and tell me what legal arguments you're denying. Put it on the record. Put it on the fucking record.
We're not a court of record.
I know. That's why I'm gonna fucking call you this whole fucking hearing.
Defendant's second motion filed February 17th.
Now, that's an issue that I have because my understanding is that all courts are courts of record. So I'm a little confused about that. Maybe in Arizona, it's a little bit different. At least in California, all courts are courts of record, even though you have to pay for your own court reporter, right? So there's some issues going on there. I have a real problem with a lot of that. That's why I tell you guys, form parallel systems like the Amish and the Mormons did, and start doing business with each other and get out of that system. Just form parallel systems. These people, in my opinion, have been taken over by large corporations like George Soros, BlackRock, right? They completely destroyed our education system. The U.S. education system, I think it was #1 in the world at one point, and then Jimmy Carter created the Department of Education. And now less than 25% of the money we pay for education actually goes to the kids. The rest goes to the bureaucracy. And the bureaucracy and their teachers' unions donate, I think, roughly 98 or 99% of their money to the Marxist Democrat Party. And that's how it works, guys. Your tax dollars go to pay for people who teach your children that boys are okay to wear dresses and that boys can share the locker room with girls, and that it's okay to have tampon machines in the boys' restroom. So that's what you get. So if you form parallel systems and you don't want to participate in a system, the Communist News Network, PMS-NBC system, and you believe in the traditional American value system that men protect their wives and children, and that the wives protect the children when the men aren't around, then maybe you want to become part of Team MPE. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. Let's get back into Lane Myers. Hurrah! Let's do it.
In 2025, a motion to suppress. Any additional illuminating argument, Mr. Myers?
Well, you don't have the intellectual capacity to understand my emotions. It's obvious.
Okay.
You're too stupid to be a judge.
Okay.
Mr. Walquist, any additional argument on behalf of the state?
Now, notice that the judge, she could have found him in contempt like 3 or 4 times just now. She's warned him more than twice. I believe the reason why is because she recognizes that Lane is pro-per and that he is protected under Balistreri, and probably that he could be a potential problem. Now, how could he become a potential problem? Well, if you lived in Arizona and you started a recall effort, I'm surprised that a recall effort hasn't already been called for the city attorney or for Mr. Walquist or for the judge, to be honest, because I think that Lane has enough pull with the people of Arizona until all the commies move out from California, right? Because, all their houses got burned down by their DEI fire chief and their DEI mayor. Until those guys take over Arizona and destroy Arizona like they're trying to do with Nevada, I think there's this very high statistical probability that Lane Myers could have all of these public servants recalled. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. All right, let's get back into the video.
Nothing further from. I'm going to start reading my motion out loud in court here if you don't address the legal arguments.
Hey, Mr. Myers, I'm going to ask you not to threaten the court, and I'm going to give
Do
you
you feel threatened by legal words?
Objection assumes facts, not an evidence, Your Honor. There's no evidence that I threatened the court. Let's go.
I'm
Legal
going to
jargon.
give you a third warning to conduct
You're a
yourself
threat to the. You're a threat to the system. You're a threat to the judicial system and the freedom of American people.
All right. Defendant's second motion to suppress evidence filed February 17, 2025 is denied. All right, let's move to defendant's motion, the Brady motion and the discovery sanctions motion filed February 18th, 2025. This is defendant's motion regarding
The one where Kent Walquist lied 8 times to the court, and you better fucking punish him right fucking now in front of the American people.
Mr. Myers, just as a point of order, what you allege in a motion does not make it true. So unless you have,
Why don't you read the fucking Brady motion I filed last night where he said that there was no use of force report? Put your fucking glasses on and read the motion where he lied 8 fucking times to the court.
All right.
He lied to the court.
All right. So just really quick, guys. Here's the issue. When I first started practicing law, I had that same vim and vigor. and I respect Lane for what he's going through, especially being pro per. But he's not winning any points with the judge. And he may be winning points with us on YouTube, but ultimately this is going to go up to the Court of Appeal. And all the judges at the Court of Appeal, as well as the Supreme Court, remember, they're political appointees. So the only power, in my opinion, that Lane has at this point is the power of the people. And that has to do with voters and recalls. If Lane is not able to tap into that, this judge and this prosecutor and the husband of this college professor are probably going to win. And because Lane is facing felonies, I believe that his only chance at this point is recalls. The power of politics. Remember, they're appointed by politicians and they can be de-seated by politicians and the voters. So I just want you guys to understand the chess game of what is currently, at least, thanks in large part to Barack Hussein Obama and Big Mike, that we have a lot of political activists who have become seated. And so now, as a result of that, it takes political activists to unseat them. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. Let's get back into it. Let's watch the rest of this video. I'm impressed with what Lane's doing and what he has to say, and I support his government accountability because I'm a natural law activist. But I don't support the concept of the swearing and the cussing because I was raised as a Lutheran. I'm a Swedish Lutheran, right? So I believe in civility. I believe that sugar gets you more than salt. And I believe that a guy with this guy's intellect and this guy's capabilities, again, could be one of the best lawyers in the country. I'm not joking around either. I mean, I've never seen anything like this in my life. This guy basically steals my breath every time I open my mouth, and I haven't watched any of these videos. And I see what he said. I'm just like, what the hell? Who is this guy? Right? There's very few times in this life that you'll run across somebody who could best you at a game of chess when you're a chess expert. And I am a chess expert. I'm a very good lawyer. But I believe that if Lane had a little bit more experience, that he would be the best. And I'm not messing around. Let's keep going. Let's keep watching.
I said something. He responded. His fucking responses contained lies. I filed a new Brady motion last night. Read the fucking motion to the whole court where it says no use of force report. Hey, how is there no use of force report? How is there no use of force report when I fucking filed a copy of it?
Was filed February 18th.
How is there no use of force report, but I'm going to play it right now on this video.
All right. I've been advised that someone is in violation of the court's rule that this not be broadcast. Therefore, we are adjourned. These motions are denied. Our trial dates remain as set.
You can't deny my motions because somebody else is doing that.
All right. So I don't know what rules or what motions were filed, but it sounds like there was some motion or something filed that made it illegal for him to broadcast this. So I'm curious to see what happened. Oh, good seeing you, Chevy. So if anybody can send me a copy of any motions that were filed so I can be aware of those, I'd like to see them. But right now, I got to tell you, I I was mentored by one of the best appellate justices in the state of California, Justice Gary Hastings, and his father before him was also an appellate justice. And one thing that they taught me was civility. And I'm an animal. I'm a Marine, right? So I'm an animal. As close to Lane as you can get, right? But I learned that you're not going to get anywhere with judges or the justice system if you're cussing and swearing and losing your temper. In fact, what I learned is the exact opposite, that the less you show that you're irritated or antagonized, the more you win. And when I do depositions, I absolutely wipe the floor with these inexperienced, high bar numbered lawyers who use that ploy with me. They try to throw me off. They make these dumb objections. And what I do is I just tell them, hey, look, you're making relevancy objections. Did you go to law school? Because, it's basic knowledge that at a deposition or in discovery, relevancy is not a proper objection. Fishing expeditions are allowed during the discovery phase. So there you go. So guys, give me a bunch of ones if you want me to keep going. I have another video. Oh my God, Chevy, you're killing me. Chevy wants me to keep going. So that $50 bought you guys some extra time. I'm going to tell you guys right now, I charge a minimum of $500 an hour when I do hourly work. But for Chevy, that $50 is $5,000. So we're going to keep going. Chevy, I love you, brother, but you don't have to keep sending me money, man. That's not what this is about, dude. I love my country. And besides Chile, Lane's the only guy I've met or know of, because I'm not going to say that I'm his buddy or anything like that. In fact, I would say that Lane probably doesn't like lawyers too much, which I don't blame him for. And that despite that fact, I'm still here supporting him. So let me find this other video here. Doggone it, Chevy. Man, Annika's looking over at me like, you better keep going. You guys are awesome, man. That's right, Miestero. Miestero. Yeah, that's right. Chevy says I charge $5,000 an hour. Well, I charge about, Chevy, if I could get away with charging $5,000, I would, but that's only because I know I got a limited amount of time left on my ticker. But guys, everybody, I want to let you know right now, the only reason we're going to keep going is because of Chevy. All right? Because I know that that's a lot of cash. Chevy, are you sure you're not a gold miner? Because I've never met anybody else. Well, Josephine, I got to tell you something. So Josephine says $500 an hour is sickening. Well, first of all, that's why I don't like to do hourly work, ma'am. I try to do contingency work. So I do car accidents, big rig truck accidents. I help draft the Cruise Ship Safety Act. I'm very connected politically on the Hill. And I have helped a lot of women and children who have been assaulted, because I can't even say the words that you need to say on YouTube, be able to sue the crap out of the cruise ship industry. And I can do the same exact thing in Arizona or anyone else. I can form a coalition of politicians, because I understand that the way you win is with politics, not with the law. The law is secondary. If you don't have a coalition of politicians, local, federal, state, you're not going to win. And so I'm just letting you all know that that's where I dwell from. And that is $500 an hour, honestly, is cheap for what I can bring to the table. But I try to stay away from hourly work, because I know that people like you think it's sickening, and I think it's sickening too. But just like when I went to the doctor the other day and had to wait 3 hours to get 2 injections to control my bulging disc, my herniated disc. And ultimately, my wife said, we got to go. We got 2 kids at home. You promised our daughter You promised my son you'd take him to Muay Thai tonight. You promised my daughter you'd take her out to get Korean barbecue. And we're here 3 freaking hours. And these doctors, the whole lobby was filled with people. And so you can blame Barack Hussein Obama for his bullshit, for his nonsense, free healthcare. It's only free to illegal aliens and criminals and people who don't have a job. But anyways, let's get back into, hey, Chevy, man, I'm so grateful to you, brother. Let's get back into it. Yeah, right on, Jody. You know what's up. You know what's up. It's all politics. But the good news is people like me, I have the Navy SEAL community. I got the Marine Corps and, the Army guys that are worth the shit, like Rangers and 101st, 82nd guys on my team. So if y'all want to join me in a couple of days out in Texas and help me raise money for service-related cancer victims, I'll be there for you. Well, you're right, Josephine, and that's why I just do contingency work. So most of the cases I take, Josephine makes a very fair statement. You're right. Most people can't afford $500 an hour. Guess what? My doctor charged me a $500 deductible for my free healthcare from these leftist commie Obamacare pundits. $500 deductible. That $500 could have covered my son's Muay Thai lessons for 5 months. And those Muay Thai lessons would have served him well when it comes time to find a wife, right? Because what woman wants a wimp for a husband, right? Knowing that her husband's a warrior and that he's going to stand tall for her. Then he has brothers that'll stand tall for her. So I just want you to think about that. Like, it's not just lawyers. And I saw all these old silver-haired ladies waiting in the lobby for 3-4 hours. You think that I'm going to take their place in line? I just got a refund on my deductible and went back home. And I'm here right now. I've been on my standing desk right now, standing here. My pain level is about a 15 on a 1 to 10. And I'm here with you right now. How much is that pain to you? To me, the price that I would charge to go to Disneyland before it was taken over by pedos would have been about $300 minimum, right? For a day at Disneyland. So how much is that worth to you? $300 a day for the rest of your life, right? To be happy. So minimum $300 a day for me for pain for the rest of my life. So that doctor should be paying me that for the rest of my life. Obama should be paying that to me for the rest of my life for his free health care that I have to pay for. Because you don't get your health care for free until you pay your deductible. And since I'm a so-called successful lawyer who can barely walk and had to literally drag myself up the stairs today to do this show, what do you think I'm worth, Josephine? And I'm not putting you down, ma'am, but I'm just telling you, like, think about that, about the free healthcare that we get. What a nightmare. What a joke. And I'm not saying that's you, ma'am. I'm just saying, like, it's a joke. It's ridiculous. All right. I know what's the matter. You don't like Republicans, but I don't like either one of them. I'm a libertarian. I think they're both a nightmare. But you honestly, what's the matter? Could you really support the party of Big Mike and George Soros? Come on, man. I mean, aren't you happy at least that Elon Musk, even though he's a billionaire, has exposed all the corruption and USAID, how it's basically just a money laundering scheme for the Democrat Party and the education system that turns out stupid kids that don't even know how to spell or write cursive writing? I mean, come on, at least give me that much, brother. All right. Well, I've never heard you say anything good about the Repubs, brother, but anyways, we'll get into it another time. Oh, Kevin, I'm sorry, man. Kevin says I was supposed to have a 4-level fusion front and back. Damn, dude, I just have a problem with all that fusion stuff. I've got friends. One of my friends is telling me to go to Arizona. It's always Arizona. Like, why is God telling me to go to Arizona? To go to Arizona to get hypnotherapy. I've got another friend of mine who's an Indian lady from the real India who's saying you need to go, and get some therapy at this other place in Arizona from a friend of mine. So it's like all roads are leading to Arizona, and Arizona seems to be the last respite for freedom in this country. I'm sure if the cartels and Obama and Sleepy Joe Biden, didn't have so much cartel money running through there, that it would just be guys like me and you, concealed carry constitutional people. But let's get back into it. Lynn Davidson said, I gave you my number up top. If you just look up there and write it down, text me. Lynn Davidson, just tell, Reluctant Prophet or Lane or Mr. Gold, or even What's the Matter You. I think you all have my phone numbers. You guys all have permission to give Lynn Davidson my phone number, if that's who you're talking to, if you want to talk to me. But you all have my permission to give it to him. Because Lynn's a dude. I know that much. I remember that much. Gloria Ad, thank you for joining me. Reluctant Prophet, thank you again. Guys, everybody give me a bunch of ones for Reluctant Prophet. Please make sure to like and subscribe to Reluctant Prophet's channel. I mean, I get it that a lot of people come on to YouTube because they're trying to make money and whatnot. But guys like Reluctant Prophet, Mr. Gold, and Lane Myers, they really are patriots. And I wouldn't have taken a liking to them if I didn't know that in my heart. There's one thing, there's a difference between believing and there's a difference between knowing. And I know in my heart, these are good guys. And I know that they're suffering and they need people like us to support them. And I truly believe that if you guys had recall elections, you guys in Arizona, and you guys became part of Team MPE, I'm not saying that because I'm trying to get props, but I would make sure to promote you and make sure that we get the necessary votes. I would use my clout in Congress and the Senate from years of lobbying and helping write legislation to help y'all. Because I believe that there is a concept that if enough people overrule the billionaire-run news media, the billionaire-run healthcare system, and we just stand up for what we believe, we'll overrule those dudes who think it's cool to have a tampon machine in the men's restroom, which I don't think is going to be that difficult to do because 99% of people realize that's stupid, right? So why are we giving billions of dollars to USAID to promote that in other countries unless you're a freaking pervert who like doing that shit at Epstein Island and you're trying to change the mentality of a potential juror before all the evidence comes out of what you did at Epstein Island? Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. All right. So because of Chevy, we're going to keep going. All right, guys. And again, for whatever reason, my credit card got snatched. So if you see some advertisements coming on, I'm going to try to skip them as soon as I can. But this will be the last time. I'll go as long as I can. And then after that, we'll get back on it tomorrow. And hopefully I can do a powwow with some of these other folks and we'll keep it going. All right, here we go.
46055. The plaintiff is Shannon Walker and the defendant is Lane Myers. Ms. Walker, this is a time and place set to hear an injunction against harassment. Case Ms. Walker, could you please stand and raise your right hand? My clerk's going to swear you in. The plaintiff is Shannon Walker and the defendant is Lane Myers.
Okay, notice, guys, just try to work with me, all right? I think Lane's got got a speakerphone on, so you're going to hear some echo stuff, but just ignore it, man. This is Lane Myers, man. This dude's a raw individual, and just respect him for who he is. This guy has got the brain of a freaking wild lion, so you can't expect him to be tame. Let's keep going.
Ms. Walker, this is time and place set you. To hear an injunction against state your first and last name for the record and spell them, please.
Shannon Walker, ShannonWalker.
Okay. So, Ms. Walker, I'm going to be asking you some questions about the allegations that you've made in your petition here. Okay. I'm also going to ask you some questions about guns. Now, I don't want you to think that I have some super secret information back here. I have no information at all regarding the defendant or anything. These are statutorily required. And so if I ask you a question, don't think I know something because I don't.
Understood.
I've only got what you've given me here in front of us. So, and I've read through the allegations here and I'm a little confused. What is going on?
So I work at the College of Law. My spouse, who is with me, Matt Walker, is a prosecutor for the city of Tucson. Mr. Myers is a defendant in a case that my spouse is prosecuting. For some reason, Mr. Myers has chosen to start harassing me because he discovered that we are married.
So right away, I would say objection, assumes facts, not an evidence. I mean, so I just want you to see, like, this is an example of why people don't trust our judicial or administrative state. We see that they're all buddies, right? A lot of us see that, and this is why. I mean, she's making statements. I don't hear the other person saying, ma'am, I would need you to provide that as evidence. I don't accept that as evidence. These are just your opinions. I don't hear any of that. I almost hear the other side accepting this as valid evidence. What do you think? Give me a bunch of ones if you think the court is accepting this, the other side's statement as valid evidence. Give me a bunch of twos if you think the court is ignoring this as valid evidence. That's what I want to know.
It's primarily been through YouTube videos that he makes about me, where he shares my contact information and encourages his 8,000 plus YouTube channel followers to contact me and also harass me. He also has contacted me directly through phone calls. He calls me, I do not answer, but leaves voicemails that are threatening. And I think that's kind of the basic overview of how we came into contact.
Okay, and this has been going on, looks like, for about the last month.
Correct.
That's what's happening here, because I'm seeing.
Okay, so when somebody says, and by the way, everything you said appears to have been going, so that tells me that the court is accepting this as true. So if I was the lawyer, I would be immediately saying objection, assumes facts not an evidence, objection lacks foundation, right? So there's no one objecting to any of this. And this is why I say it's important to have someone represent you who understands the rules of evidence, because if you don't make these objections on appeal, there's no record. And so they have to be accepted as true. So just keep listening. I want you guys to understand how important it is for you to understand the law, and why I desperately want all of you to become lawyers, because I believe that you don't have any rights unless you're a lawyer in modern society.
That things started in September of this year.
Correct.
And
I think September 12th was the
it's the first date you have down here, and posting video on his YouTube. And so,
that's right, Bruce.
Okay. And then
it's being accepted as fact because no one's objecting. Just keep listening. And by the way, remember, this is like, a college professor, law professor, who's married to a city prosecutor. So they're all part of the same political crowd. They probably received donations from the same people, right? Including the judge, maybe. So, I mean, human nature, and I'm not disparaging the court or anything like that. I would never do that as a lawyer. I couldn't do that. Lane could do it as a non-lawyer, but I couldn't do that. Maybe Direct Meth could do that, but I couldn't do that. But I'm saying, I mean, circumstantial evidence could lead an average voter who might want to lead a recall to believe that. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. Give me a bunch of twos if you think I'm a radical conspiracy theorist.
He is leaving you actual personal voicemails on your cell phone. Is this also taking place at work, or?
It's not my cell phone. It is my work line,
it's your work line.
Which is listed on the College of Law's website. And in the voicemails, he has said he was going to come see me, made comments about how I need to speak to my spouse about his case, things that are generally just offensive and, not something that I feel like I should be subjected to.
And based on these, a little threatening.
Yes. Not only from him, but now his followers are threatening me, contacting me, leaving voicemails. Yesterday, I received one that was particularly egregious. I think I included the text of at least the transcript that my work voicemail system provided. He also yesterday in his video, he is convinced that I'm a public official, which I work for a public institution, but I do not work with the public. My work is with the dean of the law school. I work with specific, college initiatives and professional relationships, but I'm not a public official. And so in his videos, he often claims that I am a public official that anyone can come talk to me and I have to see them. I have to speak to them. So not only has he claimed that, he has told his followers that. And yesterday he actually said, I'm going to the College of Law. It was something that was very upsetting, not only for myself, but now my colleagues are in fear that this person is going to come over because we've had to connect University of Arizona Police Department and our threat management team who has been following this gentleman. So it's now not only affecting me, but my people I work with. And, obviously we have our personal relationship. I don't have anything to do with this. So I don't know why this is even happening.
Well, I'm very sorry that is going on.
Not your fault, but I appreciate that.
Yes, it's difficult. So I am going to go ahead and grant the injunction against harassment. I do need to get some statements from you under oath. Now, obviously, to grant an injunction of harassment, there needs to be a series of events, and you have definitely listed on your order of protection a series of events, so you do qualify in that. I do need to.
Man, I would be filing, if I was Lane, I would be filing so many motions right now. But the problem is, I haven't seen his responsive pleadings. So typically, here's what happens. The law professor who's married to the city prosecutor, who allegedly referred all these felony charges to the county prosecutor, right? Kind of reminds me of Alvin Bragg when I think about it. I'm a little perturbed because I haven't seen the responsive pleading. So typically there's going to be a motion filed to Lane Myers has committed harassment, right? And then Lane has to file an opposition motion. Now, typically what I would do is I would object to the evidence that was provided, lacks foundation, whatever, and I would demand a ruling on that evidence. I have not heard any verbal or oral objections so far from Lane. So it makes me think this is an ex parte hearing without the presence of Lane. And so I don't know enough about the hearing at this point to form an opinion as to what happened. But I do hear the judge basically going, I find that, you've been harassed. I find this, I find that. And remember, so you got to understand, in the courtroom, all right, the same people show up in court all the time, right? Attorneys. Those same people donate money to elect a judge or vote for a judge or vote for a prosecutor, right? Vote for a politician who makes sure that that judge gets appointed. And so you have to understand, if you really want to change the system, how the system works, right? You have to. And so you have Lane Myers. This is a dude who wears a Make America Great Again hat. And we've seen lawfare and how that worked against Trump, right? Love him or hate him. We know that all that stuff that happened to him, all those charges were bullshit. We know that was lawfare. We know those were George Soros brought charges. Alvin Bragg, all those dudes, Letitia James, all those guys, hardcore Marxist Obama files, right? The same people who don't want the Epstein Island records to come forth did everything they could to take this dude down. And again, I'm not a big time Trump supporter by any means. I'm a Second Amendment guy. I think that he's got a lot of problems with respect. Look, my buddy is Dick Heller. All right. So like Dick Heller and I are buddies. Take a look at DC versus Heller. I don't think that Trump is really pro-second. I think that Donald Trump is a traditional Democrat. Okay. I think he's a Kennedy Democrat. And the modern Democrats are hardcore Marxist, anti-American communists. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. Let's get back into the video. Let's do it.
To ask you though, are the statements in this petition, are they true and accurate to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And you've explained that you really don't know the defendant. You've never met him personally?
No. One of his claims, I only know what he has said to me. We have never even spoken. I've never met him in person. I've never had
So hold up a minute. So by the way, guys, give me a bunch of ones for Reluctant Prophet. Thanks for showing up, RP, because I'm like totally off base here. I don't know everything that's gone down because I honestly haven't been following everything, dude. I've just been trying to crawl out of bed in the morning. But RP is saying that her husband filed 14 charges 2 days ago. And I guess her means the city attorney. And then 8 felonies, and he has court. So I'm assuming that means that Lane has court tomorrow. But RP, help me out. So it sounds like the husband, who's a city attorney of this allegedly Marxist college professor, anti-Trump college professor who doesn't like it that Lane wears a MAGA hat, referred 14 charges to the prosecutor, and that 8 felonies. Oh man, that Lane has 8 felonies tomorrow that he has to face in court. Dude, can you clarify that for me? Because I get it, dude. You're not a freaking. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. Matthew Walker is her husband, and she works at U of A and hates the public. Well, that's an opinion. I can't. Look, bro, you got to be careful what you say. I know she's a public official, but we don't know whether or not she hates the public, but I think you're kind of safe to say. I think most people recognize that's a statement of opinion, all right? But just so you know, if you make an affirmative allegation that someone hates someone or something like that, that could be a problem in the future. But I'm going to assume that what you're saying, because I'm an intelligent guy, that in your opinion, she hates the public, that U of A hates the public, University of Arizona. And in my opinion, 99.99% of public universities are Marxist, anti-American scum. When you charge someone $200,000 a year for a degree in how to hate white males, I would have to agree that's probably a true statement. So I have no issues with that. So Reluctant Prophet says Phocian is going to show all of them in a few minutes. Okay. So I don't know what Phocian is, but if you can shoot me a link, brother, I have no issues getting off this channel because I can't even stand up right now, dude. Just to buy me some time, to do another show tomorrow and circle back with all my brothers, you know what I mean? To find out more about what's going on. But if you want to shoot me the link to Phocian's channel, it's for my audience, even though we don't have a big show tonight. I have no issues in coming back. Now he does say she loves our money, but doesn't believe she works for it. Well, yeah, that's typical loyalist. So here's my thought. The left in this country would have sided with King George 1,000,000%. I mean, they support everything the British did, right? Restricting your ability to defend your family. Second Amendment, right? Restrict your ability to say things. First Amendment. King George. The English, our enemy. They run our university system. They run the public education system. The Department of Education. What a disgrace. Jimmy Carter creates the Department of Education. What does it do? It basically filters money to the Democrat Party, and we have a bunch of stupid idiots graduating from school. They make sure that minorities who don't even know how to speak proper English graduate. They use things like DEI and affirmative action to make sure that retards get into college and into government and into high positions in our military. Why would you want that? Why would you want dumb people leading your military? Right? Think about that. So that's basically my thought is that the modern left would have been the loyalists, right? The loyalists. They would have been the people that supported King George. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. All right. So fast forward. Reluctant Prophet says, he's the guy that you're watching. Okay, stand by. I'm going to send you the link. Sorry, brother. I'm just trying to, right now I'm at a pain level of 1,000,001. So let me just drop a link in the sidebar. This is the video that we've been watching, guys. I just dropped it. Go ahead and find out the link that I just sent you. Go to that channel, and that dude is gonna. Thanks for all the ones, guys. Not that I need validation because I already know it's true. Hell yeah, Jody Freeman, Lynn Davidson. Yeah, and JFK did warn us about all this. 4 p.m. your time, Lynn, Reluctant Prophet says. By the way, guys, I really would like it if you would support Reluctant Prophet. The more I've gotten to know him, I really think that he is, him and Lane both, are modern living prophets. And I find it ironic that he actually has the name reluctant prophet. I do believe that the Lord has gifted certain people with gnosis, Gnosis. By the way, the Catholic Church made sure to crush anyone who believed in gnosis. So I just want you to think about that and support him and Lane and Chili DeCastro over at Delete Laws. Yeah, I agree with you, Lane. I think that I'm sorry, I agree with you, Lynn, that he's a legit dude. And Kennedy did warn us about all this stuff. You're right. Not that Kennedy was that great either. I mean, he was a gangster family, but look, when the gangsters are more pure than the politicians, you got to think about that too. Like maybe Joseph Kennedy was onto something. When the government has so many laws that everyone is forced to become an outlaw because everything you do is illegal, it's time to change the system, guys. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. Look, I wouldn't have become a lawyer if I didn't think that I was called by our Lord and Savior to be able to find a way to help people like you. And that's why I'm here. So I appreciate you guys supporting my channel and kind of like, it's almost like a soap opera with my life, but thank you so much for supporting Team MPE. I'm expecting all of you to reach out to Lane and Reluctant Prophet and any of you who are residents or citizens of Arizona. I think that it's high time for you to start looking at recall. Start learning about recall. Learn everything you can about recall. Get your clipboard and start learning about recall. Because until all the commies from California move to your state, there is a statistical probability that you can regain control of Arizona from the cartels as well as from these commies that are trying to destroy your freedom. All right, think about that. Guys like Reluctant Prophet and Lane Myers, in my opinion, are very similar to Samuel Adams, Adam Smith, and the same people who fought against the king. The Bank of England, much to their consternation, has had a hard time, even with their privately run Federal Reserve System, which we know was basically the Bank of England. Even with that, they recognize that the American people, unless they can flood our country with illegal aliens from Roman civil law democracies, to where they can dilute our votes and use our census system to redistrict the country, which is what many people believe George Soros is trying to do, tongue in cheek, that the real Americans who are still here will fight that to our death. You understand? You understand what I'm saying? So if you don't take active steps to fight against the Roman civil law democracy and make an effort to restore the American common law republic, we are doomed. And I'm counting it, even if there's 53 people in here, less than 3% of the American people participated in the revolution against the king. The king has definitely, in my opinion, used our system against us to replace our servants with his people. And you have an opportunity right now on Team MPE to make sure that doesn't happen. So I want to say God bless all of you. And I know Stephen Carter, I believe everything you're saying is true. But let me just, before I go, I just want to say hello and goodbye to everybody. And by the way, I know that I've only got like 50 people in here, but those 50 people are the 3% that I'm counting on. So Stephen Carter, thank you for joining me. WMC Freight, hell yeah. Hurrah. WMC Freight, make sure to save my videos, dude. If you're a freight guy, if you're a trucker, look, I have gotten some of the biggest personal injury settlements for truckers, big rig truck accidents in the history of this country. Reach out to me if you have any legal issues regarding truck accidents, motorcycle accidents. That's what I do for a living. If you want to help support me, I'm going to help support you like I've been doing tonight. And I would, not only would I like to move to Arizona, but I'm in the process of getting barred in, assuming Soros doesn't prevent me from doing that when I file my paperwork. You got to remember, the administrative state is 99% Marxist Democrat. I've never met a government employee who was a conservative or a libertarian. Have you? Has anybody? put it in the sidebar. Have you ever met a government employee? And I don't say worker. I'm very careful the way I choose my words. Have you ever met a government employee who actually supports America, who supports the Constitution or the Bill of Rights? Have you ever met one? I haven't. I'd like to meet one. I'm hoping someday we'll meet one. Kevin Bednarski, I'm definitely always going to be taking care of myself because I'm always locked and loaded, brother. Right, W. That's right. WMC Frayed. Neither have I, brother. All right. So yeah, so far it's all a bunch of no's. So remember, a government employee is the enemy of the American people, as far as I'm concerned. And as soon as I can meet one who's not, then I will grant them clemency. But I've read the Constitution. I've read the Bill of Rights. I am a follower of John Locke. I am a follower. I understand the concept of the great Leviathan. And I understand that the King of England has flooded his country with jihadists who hate his country. I see that the globalists have destroyed Ireland and flooded their country with a bunch of jihadists, and that the native people of those countries are being destroyed. I don't want that to happen to you. And so I appreciate everybody for joining my channel tonight. God bless you. What's the matter, you? God bless you, Westman78. God bless you, Mediabaum, 7/4. Gloria, you rock, Gloria. Gloria is so cool. But guys, make sure, remember this, that I am the spawn of Delete Laws. If it wasn't for Chili DeCastro, I wouldn't even be doing this show. So I'm asking you to please make sure, because look, I have a regular job and I have a family that I support, and I appreciate all your donations and all that stuff. But I really would like it if you would make sure to support guys like Chili, guys like Lane with donations, in Reluctant Prophet above me. I'll find a way to survive. I've got a great mind. I'm grateful to you because it helps my daughter learn that she doesn't have to work at Starbucks. But at the same token, my love and my devotion is within the people that came before me. I'm a patriot, and those guys are legit dudes. And none of our founding fathers agreed on everything. In Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson pretty much hated each other's guts. And I'm not saying that I hate any of these guys, but what I'm saying is that they agreed on enough things to where it mattered and it was for the greater good. So just keep that in mind. Thank you, Jody Shiloh. Thank you, Salt Shaker, Westman78, Arthur Clermont, 7/4, Reluctant Prophet. Reluctant Prophet says Prophet was the name of my baby boy. Dude, that's dope. I appreciate that. I had no idea. Guys, say a prayer for Reluctant Prophet's son. I didn't know that, bro. I'm so sorry, dude. I didn't mean to ignore you, man. There's so many, you know what I'm talking about, bro. You do these shows. But Reluctant Prophet's son's name was Prophet, and he passed of cancer. So everybody give me some prayers for Prophet, that make sure that he's with our Savior in heaven. And then Robert, thank you for joining me. Damn. God, dude, you just crushed me right now, dude. I can't imagine if something happened to my son. I'd have to shoot everybody. Arthur Clermont, Diego Verduzco. And you guys are so awesome, man. Mediabaum. Reluctant Prophet says, fast forward, you can see the charging documents. I will, dude. So I'm going to reach out, all right, and hopefully I can get like a fast forward and get squared away. I'll do another show tomorrow, God willing, guys. God willing. And by the way, if you guys know of any pain management doctors out in Nevada, please let me know, because I got to fly out to Texas in a couple days. And I can't imagine what it's going to be like sitting in a chair for like 3 or 4 hours. Because I've been standing at a standing desk this whole time, believe it or not. Like the bottoms of my feet hurt so bad, but it's nothing compared to what like my left thigh feels like when I sit in a chair. So, and I don't know, JP, I don't know about the Calergy plan, but you can reach out to me, dude, and let me know. By the way, I need to get a haircut. I can tell I don't look squared away. So I got to tell my wife to set up an appointment at Supercuts because they give me a veterans discount. And let me see what else I got. Gloria Ad, thanks for joining me. Kinetic Customs, hopefully I was able to give you some good information tonight. And if you have any other information you need to know about, the best time to call me is at like between 05 and 06 Pacific. After that, I'm pretty much going to be unavailable for the day. Bruce R., I didn't know it was 8 felonies, but obviously I think it's unjust what's happening to Lane. And I know that Lane cusses and swears, but he's not a lawyer, guys. All right. I get it. He's not a lawyer. And obviously the judges could have found him in contempt 20 times over. Now, why do you think they haven't? I need anybody who's a resident of Arizona to reach out to me who understands the political process of recall elections. If you want to take back your rights in Arizona, I think that recall elections and also making sure the Secretary of State isn't using Dominion voting machines, right? And Obama-ites as the vote counters, I think you might have a chance. Unlike California, I think you might have a chance to get people recalled. And I may end up moving out there just because of the fact that I think if you had someone like Mike Ehline out there, you might have a chance of reclaiming Arizona as your state. Now, that being said, Jamin Lake, Integrity Now News, Jody Shiloh, good seeing you, ma'am. And Simba B, all you guys are so awesome. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to double tap that screen, all right? Double tap because we're in vertical mode. Make sure to save because we never know when and Mia's Tarot, of course, we never know when the thought police are going to take down this channel. Semper Fi, do or die. Please don't call me right after the show. I know that, let me tell you something, guys. I know that like pretty much all my friends have my phone number. When I'm done with this show, that means that I'm jumping into a bath filled with Epsom salts and I can't talk anymore. I'm in so much pain right now that I've got tears coming out of my tear ducts. All right. I'm doing this for you guys. And I really appreciated that you guys supported my channel with super chats and memberships, but that just give me some time to recuperate. All right. Cause I've been off for like several days and I came on because I had so many phone calls today. It wasn't just from you, dude. And you know who I'm talking about. All right. It wasn't just you. I had several other people call me, especially a couple of my lady friends. And they were like, where are you, Mike? Why aren't you coming on? We need you, this and that. So I came on. I had no idea that my show was going to be so popular with so few patriots, but you guys are all the patriots that we need. So God bless all of you. And hopefully, God willing, I'll be able to see you guys tomorrow night. Semper Fidelis, everyone. God bless everyone. Take care.